Alright guys, and what is going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are up here for the 33rd edition of my WWF/WWE Royal Rumble Recap and Review Retro Series. Of course, since I was not able to review anything on this channel back in January, I am doing this now to continue my catch-up tour with the pay-per-views. Since we were on Rumble 2020 for my next pay-per-view review, I thought I would, continue the retro review series and do the Royal Rumble recap and review series of 2019 women's match and a 2019 men's match. This video we're going to do the women's match first because that match took place first on the card over the men's Rumble match. Just a reminder of how this works is I read off all when they entered the match, anything that moments that may have happened during the match. I also give away any statistics as well that happened during the match, my final grade and my thoughts, and we go from there. Again, I don't review. I did this retro review series to mainly focus on just the Royal Rumble matches themselves. I didn't do it to review the entire pay-per-view. So that's why I want to continue on this retro review series as well. So that's why I'm doing this now, and talk too much. So the plan is to, again, I'm not going to be doing these live, and I will kind of be just, doing it how I was before. No really big fancy graphics, other than, of course, the introduction that you just saw in my new ending and whatnot. So this is going to basically stay the same. And again, I do this all the time now around the Royal Rumble weekend. So let's do this one again. So the numbers I'm going to read off here. Well, I will read off again, just some of them now and keep the rest of them for later. But the date of the Women's Royal Rumble 2019 was January 27, 2019 at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona, home of the Arizona Diamondbacks. It does seem now that they're having the Royal Rumble inside baseball stadiums. Okay? This last year it was, again, at Chase Field in Phoenix, home of the Arizona Diamondbacks. This year it was in Minute Maid Park, home of the 2017 World Series World Series champions, the Houston Astros. Also, the Arizona Diamondbacks won the World Series in 2001. Baseball fun facts there in a wrestling stream, just saying. And next year, it's supposed to be in T-Mobile Park, home of the Seattle Mariners. The team of my favorite baseball player of all time, Ichiro Suzuki. Anyways, without getting more into the baseball aspect, let's talk about it again. So it plays at Chase Field last year, and of course, as always, the stipulation was the #1 contendership at Wrestlemania for either the Raw or the SmackDown Women's Championship. Of course, last year they announced that, because the years before it was the champion of your brand. In 2018, they started doing whichever title you want. It could be from Raw or SmackDown. Of course, this year it was different. Of course, we'll talk about that, of course, whenever we do get to the 2020 Rumbles for sure. But let's roll with this and talk about this match. So, the #1 entrant for the Women's Royal Rumble this year was Lacey Evans. Now, this was during the time where they had the 6 random call-ups from NXT, and they were free agents. They were putting them on both brands, not sure what to do with them, basically. So, once again, if you're not sure to do with them, why bring them up? So, this is kind of the first time Lacey Evans got to showcase herself on the main roster, because at this point, she was just, appearing in a couple backstage segments. She was. This is right before she started doing her whole thing when she just walked out and just walked back, which I thought, again, was so stupid, for sure. But basically, she gets in the ring, introduces who she is, saying she's ready to clean up the nasties in this women's division. And then the second person out coming was Natalya, which you didn't think of this time was the beginning of the long, long stretch of how many freaking matches they would have in the fall, including the match at Crown Jewel. It's so special because it's the first ever women's match to happen inside Saudi Arabia, and they beat it to death. They beat that whole aspect of history to death, because once again, WWE is just full of their egos. So those were the numbers 1 and 2 to start off the match. Number 3 was Mandy Rose, of course, and Corey Graves was going nuts on commentary over it, even though this was right before it was revealed that him and Carmella started dating. Because remember, first around Elimination Chamber last year, we were told that, what was it now? We were told that, at first it looked like that Carmella and Corey Graves were having an affair, but Corey Graves had already been in the process of divorcing his wife, basically, when he was dating Carmella. So So yeah, he's a little bit more innocent than we thought, but who knows? Anyways, so we had Mandy Rose come out. Number 4 was Liv Morgan, still with the Riot Squad in the pink hair. She came in. I guess at this time the Riot Squad now was targeting Natalya, but they were targeting everyone. So it was just a pitiful stable. But she went right after Liv. I mean, she went right after Natty when she got into the ring, and all that happened was Natty just picked her up, tossed her to the top rope, and Liv Morgan was the first person to be eliminated from this Rumble match. Number 5 was Mickie James. Until I rewatched this Rumble last night again, I completely forgot about Mickie James. She was injured like later on in the year. I hear now apparently she's one of the commentators on Main Event, the show Main Event that is. But she's still being marked down as a wrestler on the SmackDown brand, but she hasn't been seen in the ring for ages. And I'm kind of wondering if she ever will get back in the ring. I still feel the run she's had since coming back at the beginning of 2017 has been a complete disappointment, really. I feel like at some point they should have at least given her the women's title for sure. It's never really made her feel too relevant, unfortunately. Number 6 was Ember Moon. I miss Ember Moon as well, but she's probably going to be out for still a long time because of her Achilles injury. Hopefully when she's back, she'll be taken a lot more seriously than she was. But she got a good length in this Rumble match. There were 3 people in this Women's Rumble match who got 50 minutes in this match, and Ember Moon was one of them. Of course, there's 2 others, which I'll mention at the end who they were when I do reveal who was in this match the longest. Number 7 was Billie Kay. Another person I forgot about. I forgot about the Iconics. I've heard rumors that they've been off TV for forever because they're being repackaged. I still don't see much in them at all when they come back because, they were a decent add to NXT, but on the main roster, they're just super annoying, and I was reminded by that. Because Billie was standing outside the ring, and all she was screaming out was, "I'm waiting for Peyton! I'm waiting for Peyton!" She's waiting for Peyton Royce, her best friend, to get in the ring. Number 8 was Nikki Cross, and seeing Nikki Cross come out, this was before WWE just toned down her craziness. Yes, she's somewhat crazy, but she's still sane, more sane now. I miss crazy Nikki Cross. I miss the twisted sister, not Alexa Bliss's best friend who's just actually normal. God, I just miss it. I don't get why WWE just toned her down her craziness. I don't get it. I miss it. But she came out, and before she got into the match, she actually just attacked Billie Kay. And Billie actually got into the match and went right after Nikki. Number 9 then was Peyton Royce, who got in there and saved Billie Kay. So they stayed together. And I was also reminded that, I used to think Peyton Royce actually had a lot of potential. I just remember seeing a couple sloppy kicks she was doing, and this didn't look even effective at all whatsoever. I'm just like, dang, no offense. Girls really are not that talented. Hopefully, with them being off TV for a while and repackaging, hopefully, they are, improving their craft for sure. Because I was just like, geez, there really wasn't too special about these girls. Then a couple months later, remember they won the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Ah! That's what they kept saying all summer long, and they barely did anything with those belts. But again, it wasn't their fault because they were supposed to be with the Bellas, but then the Bellas never came back in the end. But we had that, and then number 10, completely forgot about her. Well, I should remember now because she's never on TV, but she's getting a title opportunity at WrestleMania 36. Tamina, right at the beginning of the whole Samoan slaughterhouse with her and Nia Jax. We'll talk about her in a little bit also. She got number 10. She eliminated Mickie James. She also did some really weak-looking frog splash. I've never been a Tamina fan. She's not really that good. And part of the reason why is because she gets injured all the time. Sorry, not for me. Number 11, first entrant from NXT, Xia Li. Thought she had a pretty strong, brief but good performance in this match. I definitely think, she's definitely underrated and overlooked in NXT. I think, she's definitely, due to, be taken a little more seriously for sure. But she was in this year's Rumble also, so I definitely think they do see something in her. Number 12 was Sarah Logan. Ember Moon was almost eliminated, but then she by Sarah Logan, which I've been pissed. I'm like, why haven't Sarah Logan eliminated Ember Moon? I don't get why Sarah Logan is still on the main roster. She should have gone back to NXT. Seriously, She should never came up when she did. Like, she was barely in NXT. Only time I had seen Sarah Logan was in her couple matches in the Mae Young Classic, and that was it. After that, it's like, what's she doing? I mean, as a Riot Squad member, even though the Riot Squad wasn't really anything that special to me, it's like, okay, whatever, but, she didn't benefit from it. So she almost eliminates Ember Moon, which would have been to me like whenever Dana Brooke eliminated Kairi Sane in the previous Rumble, but the reason why I think she did that was because Kairi Sane was only in there because Alicia Fox got hurt. But she almost eliminated Ember Moon, but Ember Moon like hung her feet on the ropes and just like hung from the bottom, so she'd be like crucified head down or something like that. It looked like, but she got herself back in the match. So that was one of three close eliminations. We had that. Number 13, of course, was the Queen. Woo! Charlotte Flair. Also, but before that, we actually, as that's happening, the Iconics eliminated Nikki Cross, getting their comeuppance for Nikki Cross attacking Peyton before she entered the match. Woo. So we have Charlotte Flair come in at number 13. We know it's Showtime and this is Charlotte's first Rumble appearance. She wasn't in last year's Rumble because she was the champion, even though this year the freaking WWE champion was in the Rumble match this year for no reason whatsoever. Although it did work in the end. So Lacey Evans would then eliminate both the Iconics, and of course have a couple stare downs with Charlotte Flair teasing the blonde hair mania. I don't know what you want to call it, but yeah, teasing all of that stuff. And then Charlotte Flair then eliminates Xia Li. Number 14 was Kairi Sane, who's still in NXT at the time. And then Charlotte would eliminate Tamina, thank goodness. And then it looked like a double team with Natalya and Kairi Sane eliminate Sarah Logan. Okay. Number 15, I like this surprise. I was actually wanting this one. Maria Kanellis came out number 15. The only time Maria was in the ring before this was when she was in the number one contenders battle royale at Evolution. They did reference Evolution quite a bit also. The pay-per-view, of course, that is in this Rumble match. But she came out and I thought, well, she looked excellent, but in the ring, she looked pretty decent. I thought she could still go pretty well. Of course, she was trying to go in. First thing she tried to do was get Charlotte and Lacey to draw their attention to her. I don't know why, but they went after her for a little bit. But I was glad to see her get in the ring. Number 16 was Naomi. And remember, around this time, there was that feud going on with Mandy Rose and Naomi, as, Mandy Rose was trying to, basically break up the marriage with her and Jimmy Uso, and because, really showing the fact that, yes, anybody could have me and whatnot. But then they botched the storyline for sure with that whole story about Naomi and Tough Enough and whatnot, which it just really sent it down a downward spiral. But anyways, Naomi came in there and went right after Mandy Rose. She would eliminate Mandy Rose, but then she would be taken off the apron by Mandy, and she was about to put her down, but then Naomi ended up getting stuck on the barricade. She held on to it. Her feet were not touched. Actually, she tried to slam her down, but Naomi just basically did a handstand and whatnot, and walked her way back to the barricade. Because Naomi's got to be the one now to pull up the fancy stunts because of her athleticism, which, fine by me. I love that she does that. But she was kind of tightrope the barricade, and then she jumped from the barricade onto the steel steps, which is pretty cool. But then as she's trying to get back to the ring, Mandy Rose was still out there, comes back around, and yanks Naomi off, and her feet do touch the floor for her to get eliminated and beat down on her afterwards. So I'm like, man, but, can't help seeing some hot Mandy Rose action, as they always put over for how good looking she is. But anyways, and then Charlotte Flair would then eliminate Lacey Evans. Speaking of blondes, number 17 from NXT was Candice LeRae. Nice surprise there. She's also in this year's Rumble as well. Decent appearance for Candice, I gotta say. She did have kind of like a spotlight in it at one point, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Number 18 was Alicia Fox. Yeah. That's when she was the captain of the women's division, because she was captain of the Raw women's team at the 2017. I think it was 2017 or 18. I can't remember when it was. One of the two. But she was captain for one of the women's. I think it was the Raw 2007. Whatever it was, she was captain of the Raw women's team at Survivor Series. Person said she had this captain gimmick who wore this dumb looking hat. So she came out, and then she gets in there, and then for some reason Maria Kanellis offers like a friendship, for them to be an alliance and whatnot, and Alicia was cool with it at first until Maria like put on her hat, and then they're like, oh, awesome, we're best buddies, we're gonna be double teamers, and then whatnot, and then Maria started stomping on the hat. But it was weird because as soon as she stomped on the hat, Alicia was not looking at her. She was like, huh? Like she knew it happened. And then it imploded, and then eventually it would lead to Maria Kanellis getting eliminated by Alicia Fox. So, don't know what the point that was. 19. I love this one. Casey Catanzaro. She was an unsung star of this Rumble. Let's put it that way. I don't think she had any eliminations, but she was an unsung star. Definitely seeing her athleticism in there, and she was someone else. We've already had Ember Moon, Naomi, and then Casey also saved herself from being eliminated as well in a very unique fashion. We'll talk about that again. I love Casey Catanzaro. Not only is she short, she's cute, but she's one of the people who's like, yes, I'd be jealous of anybody who'd be with her, but I just think her and Ricochet are just so perfect for each other. I just can't help but just adore any pictures I see of them, and anytime they are tagging each other and posting, I can't help it. They're way too perfect for each other. But she came out number 19. Number 20 was Zelina Vega. And then when she came out, I like this. They reignited the rivalry between her and Candice LeRae back from a year ago. I actually like that storytelling. Kind of gave Candice a little more of a spotlight in this match, and Zelina as well. But Zelina was on the main roster at this point on SmackDown with Andrade. Candice was still in NXT. Well, she still is right now. Number 21 was Ruby Riott, but the rest of the Riott Squad members came out with her. And they were kind of doing this thing where they were pulling people underneath the ropes and beating them down one by one. The first person they did was Charlotte Flair. They also did it to Zelina Vega, Dana Brooke, a couple other people throughout the match. This also led to when Zelina Vega went and hid underneath the ring for a period of time. Honestly, God, I gotta say this. I hate when they do this. Why is it every time someone comes out to do a beatdown on someone, they pull them from underneath the ropes? Why not actually pull them over the top rope to eliminate them? It makes no sense when they do that. I hate when they do that. But yeah, that's what led to that. And then Ruby Riott would then eliminate Alicia Fox. Then she eliminated Candice LeRae. Number 22 was Dana Brooke. And then Ruby Riott would then eliminate Kairi Sane. But after this is when Ruby rolled out of the ring, and the Riott Squad did do a beatdown on Kairi Sane just for no reason. I never understood why, because they showed random people to beat down on. They had no reasons why. Because to me, the only reason why the Riott Squad formed to begin with was so they can go after Charlotte Flair, based off of that, phoned-in promo by Ruby Riott right before the match at Fastlane in 2018. We think we refer to that because, again, the Riott Squad made no sense to me, or then they're just a carbon copy of Paige and Absolution. But number 23 was Io Shirai, the genius of the sky. I forgot she was a babyface. And the mask and whatnot, because she definitely was a big Rey Mysterio fan. But she came out, and before she entered the match, she took out the Riott Squad for taking out Kairi Sane, because they were best friends. Remember, my best friend, my best friend, my best friend. But she took them all out, and then before actually getting into the ring, she went to the top of the post and did her patented moonsault to take out the Riott Squad. It was a nice spot. I enjoyed it for sure. But Io was smart not to actually get inside the match and eliminate herself. But I think Io had a strong performance as well. I don't think she had any eliminations, but she looked good in the match. Number 24. At the time, she was with NXT UK still. But Rhea Ripley, who had just dropped the NXT UK Women's Championship. I'm like, perfect. Again, I've always said this, I keep saying it, it's just so obvious. NXT and WWE is super high on Rhea Ripley, and I don't blame her. And she's gotten over with the crowd for sure. So, once again, kind of the same situation with Drew McIntyre. We have, someone that both corporate and the fans like. But she came in, I actually thought she was also someone who was a pretty good star in this match. The first thing she tried to do, she went in there, had a good thing there, but then she tried to eliminate Casey Catanzaro, which they had a history. They had a match against each other in the Mae Young Classic the summer before. She goes to throw Casey out of the ring and powerbomb her, but Casey, which I'm pretty sure might have knocked the wind out of her, landed on her butt, and her feet did not touch the floor. Her feet did not touch the floor, just her rear end and her back touched the floor. So it's like she's technically still in this match. So to show off her athleticism and her athletic ability, she does a handstand and walks to a ring post, wraps herself around the ring post, and just spider crawls or climbs it back up and gets inside the match. It was an awesome spot. I'm just like, this woman's like a star in this match. Casey was one of the stars in this match for sure. She didn't eliminate anybody, but again, she stood out. She was awesome in this match. She got back in. She tried to do a frog splash to take out Ripley, but then Ripley would catch her and then actually throw her out of the ring, and her feet would touch the floor. But that was a great spot. I like that. Sonya Deville came in on number 25, and then Rhea Ripley would eliminate Dana Brooke for her second elimination. Hornswoggle, though, appeared under the ring, because you kept seeing Zelina Vega keep peeking from underneath the ring, and she hit out underneath the ring, but she was not eliminated because she was pulled underneath the bottom rope. But Hornswoggle made a random appearance and chased Zelina Vega back into the ring. Once Rhea Ripley eliminated her, though, she would be eliminated by Rhea, and then Hornswoggle chased after. I thought that was corny. I don't know what the point behind that was. It just probably just for Vince to laugh, but I didn't care. Number 26 was Alexa Bliss. Now keep in mind, this was Alexa's in-ring return, because she had not wrestled, I think, since her match with Ronda Rousey at Hell in a Cell back in September. So this was kind of her in-ring return from injuries, and there was rumors for a while that she was not going to be able to return, unfortunately, but I'm glad she was able to come back like she did. And she would eliminate Sonya Deville when she got into the match. Number 27 was Bayley. Again, 2019, despite the fact that her character kind of took a hit, I did think Bayley put on some for better wrestling performances in 2019. And I definitely thought she looked great in this match as well. She came out number 27. Obviously, again, they mentioned how, she had been out of the women's title picture for way too long, which is true, because all we got in 2019 was her and Sasha feuding with the freaking Riot Squad. They were nowhere close to anywhere to a title opportunity in 2018. It was stupid, because all they faced was, the freaking Riot Squad. So, Bayley would eliminate Ruby Riott, and then she would also eliminate Rhea Ripley, which I thought looked good. Again, she came out looking strong. Now, here was where things started to get a little twisty. Number 28 was Lana, which, when she got a pop when she came out, I'm thinking, man, wasn't it just a year ago she was getting cheered? A year later, she's the most hated woman that everybody just can't stand to see on TV, and it's true. So the story was, on the pre-show, Rusev and Nakamura had a match for his title. Yeah, remember that? They actually refused each other, and 2 nights later, all of a sudden, they love each other, and they're a tag team, which, again, made no sense. Somehow, during the match, Lana suffered an ankle injury, which led to this. Lana was not able to walk when she came out. It was obvious that she was not going to be able to enter this match, storyline-wise. But then, at number 29 was Nia Jax. She came out and just beat down Lana, but for some reason she beat down Lana's good leg. I'm not sure if she's trying to injure both legs or just aggravate it more. I don't know. So, of course, that's when the crowd starts chanting for, the person we wanted to see enter this Rumble match, despite the fact she wasn't going to be in it, because she was in the SmackDown Women's Championship match with Asuka earlier. But Nia would then eliminate Io Shirai, and she also eliminated Natalya, who had been there as the number 2 entrant. We'll talk about her, of course, in a second also. So, of course, Nia's getting the massive boos, because at this point, she's kind of getting the white heat words, because, she's not that good, and she, broke Becky Lynch's face, being reckless and whatnot, still green as heck in the ring. But obviously they're going to give her a big push because she gets heat. But that was that. Number 30 was Carmella, which I forgot. This Rumble, this is also the Rumble where the mixed match challenge was there a month before. Remember the one that kept getting tag teams changed up left and right because either storyline wise or injuries? Again, it was so annoying and so dumb. But Carmella and R-Truth had won it. So since they won it, they got number 30 spots in their Rumble matches. So Carmella came out number 30. But then the crowd popped because out came Becky Lynch storming down the ramp. Lana is still on the side with officials, being tended to. And she gets into Fit Finley's face and she's like, come on, let me replace her. She's not going to be able to wrestle. Let me get in there. She, just being badass Becky. This is where, Becky was still, I still love Becky, but, right now, obviously, with her having, nothing to work with, she's gotten a little flat. But again, it's not her fault. It's just that she has no competition to work with. The moment she gets a competition, though, boom, she's off. But this is her basically just being the badass. She had lost to Asuka earlier, but she's looking for a shot to get back in the picture, and of course also because she wants to give Ronnie these hands. But she basically just argues with Finlay. He's like, come on, let me get it. Finally, after hesitating for a while, he's like, go ahead. So Becky Lynch is the 28th entrant and replaces Lana in the match. She gets in the match. We would then see Ember Moon get eliminated by Alexa Bliss. She was in there for a long time as well. But then Alexa Bliss got eliminated by a double team of Bayley and Carmella. Baymella, as of course their friendship was always called. And they kind of seemed to rekindle their friendship, of course, during this match as well. But then Carmella got eliminated by Charlotte. The final four was Bayley, Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, and Becky Lynch. Of course, also when Becky first got in, the first person she went after was Nia Jax because of their history with being the Nia costing Becky her match at Survivor Series by breaking her face the Raw before. But those two do. I mean, even though again I'm not a Nia Jax fan, I'm actually still surprised Nia's not back. I thought Nia would have come back before Ruby did, but obviously I still think at some point those two need to have a feud because of their history. And then there was a weird elimination. It looked like Bayley was then eliminated by Charlotte, but it was weird because she was on. Nia had her 740 Samoan drop, and then Charlotte then did a big boot on Bayley while Bayley was on top of Nia to eliminate Bayley, which I thought was weird. Of course, there was also a time where there's some times where Charlotte was breaking up some stare downs. She did one with Nia and Becky, but then Becky was thrown through the middle ropes, so she was not eliminated. Thank goodness, or else the crowd would have been pissed. But then, while Charlotte was fighting off Nia on the apron, Becky came out of the blue and pulled the ankle off of Nia, eliminated her, which I'm like, yeah, awesome! But then Nia went after Becky, and she just pushed her off the steel steps, but she was not eliminated. And Becky kayfabe hurt her knee. But of course, the big thing everybody takes away from this is that Becky Lynch was first selling the wrong knee injured. She was selling the right knee, but it was the left knee that ended up being injured. So that was awkward for sure. And it looked like Becky was not able to continue the match because of her knee injury. And Charlotte was in the ring gloating because she just constantly wanted to prove that she was better than Becky. But then Becky finally went, right when the referee was about to raise Charlotte's hand, thinking that Becky was about to check out of the match. Becky runs in, breaks it up. She's like, I'm good to go. And then Charlotte just continued to target the knee of Becky. The psychology was sold great, but Becky would fight back, and eventually she would win the 2019 Women's Royal Rumble match. Definitely would need to happen. The right move was made, and she, of course, would go on to face both. I mean, even though the storyline was overproduced and botched, for sure, she would go on to headline WrestleMania as Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda would main event WrestleMania in a winners-take-all match, both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships, which Becky became Becky 2 belts for a month. Again, the story was overproduced, but it would have been nice to have been just Becky and Ronda for sure, but they had to get Charlotte involved, but, So, overall, I would say this was a fun Rumble. I definitely liked it better than the year before. The year before, for 2018, I don't know if it was because, one, it was very obvious that Asuka was going to win that one, and two, there was a lot more, former superstars that came back. A lot of them who aren't as good a shape. Not that I hated seeing them. It was great to see them, but to me, it was just... It was the fact that I just felt that, the depth was not in there. This one with having, more younger talent, more fresh talent, feeling like there was actually more of a roster somewhat in this Women's Rumble match. I mean, you could bring back a few, old surprises for sure. We didn't really have any besides maybe Maria Kanellis in this one. But this one I think was fun. There was a lot of fun moments in this match. Some weird ones, though, I will say as well. The storytelling in this match, though, was excellent. A lot of things were brought up, and it was a fun one. I definitely like this one better than the Men's Rumble from 2019. We'll talk about that when we get there next. But so for grade, even though there was some weird spots in it, I gave it an A-. I gave this Rumble an A-. Again, it was well, another problem with this match also And that's the problem with this pay-per-view. It was a good pay-per-view. I think I gave it like a B plus for the pay-per-view. It was too long a pay-per-view. And this Rumble match was, I don't know if it's because, the Becky injury or what, but this Rumble match was too long. This was an hour and 12 minutes. That's how long this Rumble match was. An hour and 12 minutes. Almost as long as the Greatest Royal Rumble from the year before. That one was like about an hour and 20, I think. And Daniel Bryan was there for an hour and 16 minutes. He had the Iron Man performance he should have had at the 2015 Royal Rumble. But I digress again. But this was still fun. Too long, but fun. Becky Lynch won it. I said before, there were three women in this match who were in there for 50 minutes. Charlotte Flair, Ember Moon, and Natalya, who was in there for the longest. She came in number 2. She was in there for 56 minutes and 1 second. And Charlotte Flair had the most eliminations in this Rumble with 5. I believe this tied Michelle McCool with 5 from the year before. But of course, this past year, we have both Bianca Belair and Shayna Baszler from NXT both get 8, which was an awesome performance to see by both those women for sure. But yeah, I give this Women's Royal Rumble for 2019 an A-, and that is my recap and review of the 2019 Women's Royal Rumble match. So guys, what are your thoughts on the Women's Royal Rumble match 2019? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video, subscribe or comment on my channel, follow me on Twitter at DemandAirBody93, and also make sure to check out my Wrestlemania Experience documentary from last year, and also make sure to check out my Chris Benoit Dark Side of the Ring review as well. That was just posted yesterday as well. So again, I'll be back up here, guys, in a little bit to review the men's 2019 Royal Rumble match, and we'll go from there. So until then, guys, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you all then. Peace out, everybody.